I was crying bitterly. I felt defeated, but in that moment, a voice came to me and told me, "Remember, Job?" I've had several major life transitions in my life, and I mean major ones that really affected me emotionally. When I was around 7 or 8 years old, my mom, who lived with me and my older sister, left us to move abroad as an immigrant because our circumstances weren't that great. And I remember being this vibrant, bubbly girl full of energy and always ready to chat. But after my mom left, I turned into the shy, timid version of myself. And very early on, I took on the role of being responsible for the people around me. I can still remember my grandmother sending my sister and me to the money transfer every Saturday to see if our mom had sent any money. But on many Saturdays, there was no money. And my sister and I would be crying on the way back because we knew what that meant. It meant another week of uncertainty about whether we'd have enough food to eat unless someone else helped us out. The house would turn quiet and sad, so I started associate money with happiness from a very young age. Then, at 12 years old, I had to leave my grandparents and my older sister, who I was so attached to live with my father and stepmother in a different town. And again, everything shifted because with my grandma and my sister, I felt protected and loved, even though we didn't have enough to live. But now I was in this big house with a lot of people that I barely know. It felt overwhelming, and I was bullied both at home and at school because I was very slim and I was not considered smart. So I had to learn how to put on a strong face to protect myself. But inside, I was still that vulnerable girl just longing for someone to look out for me. Fast forward a few years later, at 17 years old, I left my home country to live with my mother abroad, the person I admired the most in the world. For the first time, things seemed like they might get better. But little did I know, moving abroad would take a toll on me. Adjusting to a new environment, the language, the culture was tough. I faced so many unmet expectations that it drove me into a deep depression, and I ended up needing medications to cope. Then, when I was 19 years old, everything changed again. My mom died. My backbone, my reason for living was gone. And I was left with my younger sister in a foreign country. For a long time, I struggled with the loss. It left me with a huge scar, and I found myself in a period of hopelessness, just existing but not really living. But I kept going. I kept pushing through each day because I had my sister, only 8 years old, who relied on me to care and to protect her. I was the only thing she had, so I had no choice than keep moving. Then, a couple of years later, I hit a long, drawn-out existential quarter-life crisis. I started questioning everything around me. I was confronting some big questions and big feelings that we don't often confront on a day-to-day basis, like, who am I? What am I really doing with my life? And am I on the right path? Or what do I truly want? I turned into an investigator. I was calling family members who are older than me just to verify some of the past memories I had cherished for years. But suddenly, I began doubting everything that had made me who I was up until that point. Every belief, value, and memories. It was overwhelming. I felt like a failure, like I was behind and hadn't achieved anything meaningful. During this period, I felt like I was in a fog, struggling to see the path ahead. I was fighting with doubt about my choices, my direction, and even my own worth. I remember spending countless nights awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying my life, and wondering, where do I went wrong? I was like being on a roller coaster of emotions. One moment I'll feel a flicker of hope, and the next I would plunge into despair. I felt lost. I felt stuck, caught between my external reality and the potential I thought I had inside. There were days when I would put on a brave face, pretending everything was fine, but inside I was battling a storm. And just when I thought I might break free from the cycle of doubt, one morning I woke up and went to work, and out of nowhere, I lost my job in less than 2 hours. If you've ever lived abroad, you know how vital a job is for a foreigner. It's about survival, not just for you, but for everyone back home who relies on you. Losing that job was devastating, but I've always had this entrepreneurial mindset. So I found comfort in telling myself maybe it was time to start something new. So I did my research, I poured my heart into it, and I invested all my savings and my sister's savings into a business idea that I thought was the right one. But it failed. We lost everything, and I mean literally every last dollar we had. I remember one afternoon I got into my car. I drove on the highway, and I gathered every bit of strength I had left, and I screamed, God, why me? I was crying bitterly. I felt defeated, but in that moment, a voice came to me and told me, remember Job? But I was so angry. I shouted back, no, I don't remember. I'm not Job. I cried and cried until I couldn't anymore. I went on the beach. I sat in front of the water and I watched the waves go back and forth until it got dark and went back home. After that, I spent months trying to figure things out, navigating this dense, heavy feeling I had carried for years. Each setback and failure added weight to that burden. Then one morning, I had this sudden soft feeling washed over me. A sense that I had closed a circle. I had completed a chapter. And in a matter of minutes, all those failures and all the pain I went through over the past 30-something years were sealed and done. I felt ready for my next chapter. It was a feeling I hadn't experienced before. Suddenly, everything started to make sense, like the sun rising one ray at a time. I saw my entire life unfold before me, and I realized that everything I had gone through had to happen for me to be where I am at that specific moment. I felt this pure gratitude for every single person and experience, positive and negative, because without each one, I wouldn't be here today. I became so proud of myself. Of course, those painful moments and mistakes have left their marks on me. It's like going through surgery. It's painful, and you might come out missing a limb, but the joy of being alive and the appreciation for the experience is stronger than the pain. And that's how I felt. Each scar tells a story, a reminder of what I've endured and how far I've come. Those life transitions, with all their challenges, shaped me into that resilient person I am today, with a clear purpose moving forward. Each setback taught me something valuable, whether it was about perseverance, the importance of self-compassion, or the necessity of letting go. I've learned that growth often comes from discomfort, And while I wouldn't wish those experiences on anyone, I wouldn't trade them for anything either. Now, when I look back, I see my life as a mix of joy and sorrow. Each experience has shaped who I am today, stronger, wiser, and more aware of my values. I've learned to embrace the complexity of my journey, recognizing that both the highs and the lows have shaped my perspective. And as I step into this next chapter, I carry with me the lessons from my past, ready to face whatever comes my way with courage and authenticity. If you were to ask me how I moved through all of it, my answer would be acceptance. Once I embraced my past and all its complexities, everything else followed. I learned who I was, I set meaningful goals for myself, I developed new habits and shifted my mindset. I would say that I found a deeper meaning in life, a greater sense of self, and a clearer understanding of who I am at my core. So, as you can see, I can resonate with many of you on many different levels. I've been through my share of ups and downs, and I know what it feels like to struggle or feel lost. But here's the thing, I didn't just get there by chance. I've developed techniques, methods, and strategies that help me along the way. That's why this channel exists, to connect with those of you who are going on a similar journey. I want to share the tools that help me get out of the rut and start living intentionally and authentically. Because I think you deserve to achieve your full potential, create the life you desire, and find personal success without feeling lost or stuck along the way. So, if any of this resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, of course, but you can also register for the program I'm developing, which is designed to help women like you navigate these challenges and thrive. Link in the description. So go ahead, click the link in the description, and I'll meet you there. And as always, in you, I see love, the biting thread, and beauty, the unique clear spark. Until next time, take care of yourself. Bye bye.